shout out to Kobe Beats for that hot intro, and welcome to Real Talk with Traci Fant. Today's show is going to be epic. Live in the studio we have Cathy Duncan Peden, Sandra Watson, Ramone MrMone Oneal, and Davida Mathis, and my lovely co-host Julie. What's up, Julie?
What's up, Traci? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
That's cool. Hey, so did you have a good weekend?
I did. I went with you ladies last night to see Tony Gas, and I learned a few things especially about the communication style that I'm gonna try to use in my marriage.
Yeah, he was on point. He was on point. I was really very pleased, you know, to be able to meet him, interview him, and to also just spend time with him and pick his brain. It was pretty interesting. So what else did you do? Did you do anything else?
Entertaining mother-in-law here visiting from New York, and I'm just trying to show her a good time. But other than that, I just kind of chilled this weekend.
Okay, and what's your mother-in-law's name?
Her name is Lucille Lewis.
All right. Hey, Miss Lewis.
Hey.
She's in the studio with us today. So, you know, it's just like one big happy family up in here. Welcome to Real Talk with Traci Fant. I truly appreciate you coming, and I hope you're enjoying your visit.
I really am.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, Julie, you got anything else?
That's it. That's it, really.
Shout out to Josh Knuckles and Tori Dandy for bringing Tony yesterday. Tony Gaskins last night, man. It was an awesome event. The Real Love Tour. And I think Greenville, they say Greenville had the best crowd.
Yep.
And so, hey, shout out to the people in Greenville for showing up, right?
That's right. Showing up, showing out.
That's what's up. So, hey, without further ado, let's start the show. My first guest is a phenomenal woman who has taken her fight against cancer to another level of love and compassion for others. Please welcome the beautiful Miss Cathy Duncan Peden.
Hi.
Hey, Cathy, how you doing?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's great seeing you. Great seeing you again. I know
Likewise.
The last time I saw you, you were preparing to have surgery.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did that go?
It went well. I am cancer-free. Yay. Praise God.
That's exciting. Great.
Very great news. I'm still recovering, but you know, I'll take the cancer-free and the rest will follow.
I know, that's right.
So,
yeah. So you started a blanket collection, correct?
Yeah. When I turned 40 in 2013, right before I was diagnosed, I wanted to have a party with a purpose. I wanted to have a Sagittarius bash with a purpose. And I decided to collect blankets. Well, I thought the drive was going to be for the homeless. And I tried, you know, several different avenues to deliver the blankets to the homeless, and it just didn't work out. And I was even going to, you know, provide them to Tent City, but at that time when that whole rigmarole was going on, when they were selling you know, their materials or whatever. So ironically enough, 2 weeks after I turned 40, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I had been driving around with these blankets in my car for the longest time, not realizing the purpose was for me and others in my like situation. And so, you know, God was in the midst of it all, and I was like, oh, I'm going to chemotherapy. Let me deliver these blankets to the patients that I have chemotherapy with, and, you know, the rest history. So God, he's been awesome, and, you know, that's just what it was. So now I'm collecting blankets once again for the same purpose. And, you know, it's just been great. Everybody responsive, so.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed on Facebook that all your friends, and that's how I saw it. You know, people contacting you like, I got a blanket.
Got a blanket.
Or one lady said she was in the store buying blankets, and someone gave her a $20 donation.
Yeah, the sales associate, she looked at the, you know, my friend, and she was like, you know, why is she buying all these blankets? So she explained the store, and she turned around and gave her money to, you know, go towards the proceeds. So that was a blessing, yeah.
Wow, that is a blessing.
Yeah.
And you've been a blessing.
Thank you.
I know you're very transparent and you're walking in your fight against cancer. That, you know, I truly appreciate it because, like I said, it's a very scary thing.
It is.
And I know you were afraid, and you expressed to me, you know, your belief in God and the fact that your faith, you knew that he was going to bring you through this.
Oh, yeah, because with ovarian cancer, for women, it's a silent killer. That's why they call it the silent killer, because women don't know. Right. And it was just happenstance that I had a pain in my right side right before we were going off for Christmas break, and something just said, Kathy, it was the Holy Spirit said, Kathy, go back to the doctor. And thankfully I did, because that same day they found a mass in the right side of my pelvic area. They just didn't know what it was until I had surgery. So 2 days later, on December 27th, I had surgery, and that's when I found that I had ovarian cancer. So
wow. Now, does that run in your family?
it does not run in my family. Nobody. Cancer on my mom's side typically runs in the family, but not ovarian cancer. So it was something very new to me, of course, and all of us. So I always tell women now to be your best advocate. If you feel like something is not right, just go to the doctor, because all he can say is either this or that, but at least you have an answer. So thankfully I was able to go back to the doctor to get that answer.
Well, that's good that you listen to your body, because some people don't listen. I mean, like my mother, she's the type of person, she's like, well, I don't want to know.
Exactly.
And I mean, I'm the type of person, I want to know, and I'm going to tell you, if something's wrong, but a lot of people don't want to disclose that type of information to people.
Exactly. And as Traci said, I've been very transparent because I'm not afraid of what I've been assigned. I thank God for the journey, because along the way I have been able to help others, and they've been able to help me as well. So, and I've met a lot of strong women, and whether it's ovarian cancer, or breast cancer, or cervical cancer, we've all been in the same fight. So we've all been inspiring each other just to keep going. So yeah.
And your students, man, your students just love you. I know that when I visited your class and you said that you were going to have surgery again, they seemed like they were very distraught. I'm not going to say distraught, but they weren't too happy.
They're just very concerned, yeah. And I even have my previous students that come by, they check on me, and they just want to make sure that all is well, because they're like, at the end of the day, Miss Peyton, we want you to come back. So I said, well, I'll be back, so just get ready.
So now you're an educator. What grade do you
I teach 9th grade English at JL Mann High School.
9th grade. Now, how long have you been at JL Mann?
This is my 8th year, but I graduated from there, so I feel like I've never left.
Wow, because I substituted at JL Mann years ago.
Did you? Okay, yeah, Patriots, baby, all the way.
Yeah, I like JL Mann.
It's a nice
JL Mann was actually the first school that allowed us to come in and do workshops.
Really?
Yeah, he was the first principal to let us come in, and for that I was like truly appreciative, because it was like when we first started out, when ThinkTwice.org first started, and he was like, I believe in what you're doing. And he let us give out pamphlets and stuff at lunch and just all that stuff. So it was a big deal.
Yeah, you were phenomenal as well. The kids really enjoyed it. They still ask about you, as a matter of fact.
Man, it was like the silence of the lambs.
It was.
It was like she told everybody to shut up. They were on mute.
They were on mute.
I had to actually, I said, okay, Traci.
Well, that means that they probably were absorbing. They were listening to you.
That class is very observant, yeah. But afterwards, they still ask about her and say, how's she doing? We really enjoyed her.
And when I was leaving, in fact, I've seen some of the students since then.
Have you really?
I saw some at Dave & Buster's. I saw a couple at the mall.
Oh.
They're like, hey, Miss Traci. I'm like, why ain't you talking to me? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but I'm definitely going to have you back.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to come back. Yeah. And I was happy that they remember me. So that meant a lot.
Definitely. You're good with the kids. So.
To know that I'm rememberable.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. See that big word, you?
Rememberable.
I ain't even stutter that time.
You got it right.
I got it right that time. So, moving forward, where do you see your blanket
drive?
What is it called? Drive, yeah.
I see it bigger and better. I'm not quite sure where I am right now. I just know my back seat is full. I still have a couple of people to meet when I leave here. But I definitely want to talk to the kids, out to the children. Adults is, one thing, but kids is another thing, because they can't really, speak for themselves. It's just a hard journey within itself. So it's a blanket, but yeah, it provides comfort. It provides warmth. It's just a token. And I just remember when I was going through chemotherapy, just the smallest things that we received meant a lot to us. And so I just want to continue that. And I'm not going to stop. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the blanket, are you accepting new or gently worn blankets?
Preferably new, because therapy patients, and we are. Our immune system is just down sometimes, so we have to be very careful. So prefer them to be new. Yeah.
All right, cool. And so how can someone get blankets to you if they want to donate?
Well, they can call me, and I'm just trying to figure out if I want to give out my phone number, or find me on your Facebook page, or my Facebook page. It's Cathy Duncan Peden, Peden. You can inbox me or find me on Trans website as well, and contact me, and I'll be happy to find you and meet you today to to get a blanket.
All right, and you can also give them on as well.
Exactly.
To help Cathy out with that. So Cathy, on this show we do shout outs.
Yay.
So you got to go ahead and get those shout outs.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
I definitely have to give a shout out to my husband, Sheldon Peden. Y'all know that's my A1 since day one. He always has my back. He has been so supportive. Boys have to say, hey, this little Sheldon, Ashton, Cameron, my 16-year-old, almost 17-year-old, my mom, my dad, my sister, all my friends on Facebook. I love y'all very much for always being supportive. You guys have been on this journey with me this whole year, so I'm very, very appreciative for everybody. And thank you, Traci. I got to give you a shout out as well.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for being on Real Talk with Traci Fant.
Thank you for having me.
That's Real Talk.
Yay.
We're back. Her 28-year-old son was paralyzed in a tragic truck accident, and she has decided to turn that tragedy into a powerful resource ministry. Please welcome the lovely Miss Sandra Watson. Hey, Sandra.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Nice having you. So tell us about your paralysis page.
Well, my paralysis page is basically a clearinghouse of information for others that might be dealing with spinal injury or the family members of others that are dealing with spinal cord injury. As most people know, spinal injury is any type of loss of function or movement beyond an injury level, and it can be devastating to a person or to a family that's going through such as that.
Oh, yeah, and I actually have a friend, my friend Rico. He suffered a spinal cord injury playing football. I think he was like 12 or 14 years old. And so, he has an organization called CHIPS. And he also raised awareness of spinal cord injuries from sports and athletes and everything. But he had also mentioned that spinal cord injuries happen so often in the United States, not only through sports, but as your son, he had a truck accident, correct?
Yes, yes.
So what do you know what happened?
He was on his way home from his job in property preservation, and a deer ran out in front of the truck, and he was rushing, trying to get pictures into the computer by a certain time, and he swerved too fast and lost control, and the truck actually swerved and went up in the air and just slammed down on its head. As most people can see, if they visit the page www.face.com/paralysis club, that is the truck which was left upside down for about 3.5 hours while he was inside, and he never lost consciousness.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. I went to the page when you inboxed me, and I saw the truck and everything, and it's amazing that he's alive.
It is.
It's amazing. So where is he paralyzed from? Is it?
His injury level is at T2, which is pretty high up. It's from about the breast line down, and that affects balance. It affects a lot of your bodily functions below that level. But he has been blessed to have some great therapists that are working with him, from the Roger C. Peace Rehabilitation Center here in Greenville, to the Walton Rehab Center in Augusta, Georgia, to the Shepherd Center in Atlanta, Georgia, to the Neurodevelopmental Program in Augusta, Georgia, and he's still in therapy today, and he has come in contact with some of the most wonderful therapists that we could hope for. And it's a long journey, and it's not over yet. He's still in therapy, and there's other opportunities that we hope to take advantage of as a family with him at Project Walk Spinal Injury Recovery Center in probably Houston, Texas. There's also one in California.
Now, how long ago was this accident?
The accident happened on October 22nd, 2012.
So, was it like him starting all over again? Like, I mean, I know it's been rough because I actually watched the video and just different things on the page, and I can't imagine. You know, you're seeing your son, a vibrant 28-year-old.
Yes.
And then now all of a sudden, I mean, you have to basically take care of him again. I know that changed your life completely. I mean.
Well, the good news is it started off as us taking care of him, and now he's gotten to such a high level of independence that he pretty much takes care of himself. Not only that, he takes care of others through a ministry that he does, which is a street preaching ministry where he feeds the homeless, the disenfranchised. He gives them the word of God through the gospel. He touches people's lives that he meets in different churches, any avenue. If he's at a doctor's office, he ministers to people and touches them, you know, at the point where they need a word from God. So he really has been blessed by this accident, as strange as that may sound. And he does everything that you can imagine except driving. So he pretty much takes care of us more than we do him. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so if somebody wants to get in touch with you and find out more about your resources, or if they just need someone to talk to, because experience is the best teacher, and I'm sure you could really give someone some great sound advice, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, people are welcome to reach me through www.facebook.com/paralysis club, and you don't have to be a Facebook member to visit the website, and you can leave a message and I will receive that. And I also can be reached through Miss Traci's page. And you're just welcome to reach out to me on Facebook. I have many friends on Facebook, including you, Miss Traci, and I really appreciate you thinking highly enough to invite me in to share this today. And my main hope is that it will be something to help others who are going through this, to let them know that it's not as devastating as it initially looks. There are many things that can be done to aid and help a person get back to walking again, including the new exoskeletons that are out. There's gait training. There's so many resources. My son even has an FES bike that he uses, and he walks about 5 miles a day,
wow,
3 times a week, and he does that in a stationary position, but it gives the exercise to the muscles to keep muscles vibrant and alive. And so it's very encouraging. Please feel welcome to contact me on Miss Traci's page. To put it out, my phone number, if anyone wants to contact me by phone, don't be a stranger. My number is 864-389-0809. And I'd love to also encourage anyone who is going through this to contact Able, South Carolina, which has wonderful resources for paralysis patients and people who are in constant recovery. And also Rafe Ellisor. He is disabled himself, but he organizes fun events from zip lining to fishing to deer hunting for people who have spinal injuries.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, hey, on this show, you know, we give shout-outs, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and give us those shout-outs. And you got your lovely daughter out there also.
Yes.
I was going to tell her she can come in the studio if she wanted to. She wanted to come in. But anyway,
yes,
go ahead and give those shout-outs.
Well, I give a shout-out to Shawn, first of all, because this journey was started by his injury, and it has taught me so much that I never knew about paralysis. To my husband, William Henry Watson Jr. Hey!
Shout-outs to the husbands today. The husbands getting love. Okay.
My son, William III, my daughter-in-law, Tiara, my daughter-in-law, dear companion, Teresa, who's here with me, Taylor, my other daughter, and I have 4 granddaughters that are little angels, Ariana, Gabrielle, and Savannah. And a shout out to my family, Facebook friends everywhere. Thank you all so much.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And I know how those little granddaughters are. I have 4 myself, so, You know, congratulations on renewing your vows as well. Or wasn't that a vow renewal?
Yes, yes.
Congratulations on that as well. You are a very beautiful bride. Very beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And hey, thank you for being on Real Talk with Traci Fant. And that's Real Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fury has an awesome new user-friendly mobile website that is designed to help folks better understand Obamacare and how it impacts them. The website is thehealthinsurancesource.com. It's really easy and allows folks to easily see all plans quickly, and you can even pull down a subsidy which lowers your monthly cost from the government if you're eligible for it. And if you see a plan that you like, they can simply apply at thehealthcare.gov.
All right, and if you're stuck in jail, we can bail. Call JG Bail Bonding, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. My girl, Jamie Graham, man, she's doing some awesome things, helping people with felonies get jobs and helping you get back on your feet while you're on probation. Like I said, they're doing an awesome job. They're great friends of mine. They're located in Greer, South Carolina. Call them, 864-877-6200. If you're stuck in jail, they'll bail you out, 864-877-6200. Shout out to our sponsors. My next guest is an artist who is described as a modern-day ghetto storyteller with a realistic vibe. Please welcome the man himself, Mr. Moan. What's up?
What's going on?
How you doing?
Trying to make it.
Hey, welcome to the show. Glad to see you again. Saw you at the open mic at Cream.
Yes.
Man, you guys did an awesome job with that, and I'm telling you, your music had me. I was like, I want to get him on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate
See, I stuttered a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I don't even usually stutter like that. You know what I'm saying? Your style is very unique. As I told you, you sound like Tupac when you're rapping. And basically, it's not only rap, is it?
Yeah, it's not only rap. You know, it's bigger than that. But first of all, I want to give my man Charles Clark, you know, a shout out. Because I was his guest to that, you know, at Cream. So shout out to him. The brother reached out. Shout out to you for reaching out. I had been yearning to work with you for like a minute.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, man, I can't get this race. I was hitting you. And I said, she probably got a lot of stuff going on. Then when you hit me up that day and was like, hey, I like your song, Save a Child, and I was like, oh man, that's what's up. Right. And you was like, I want to have you come to the show, you know, and do something, you know. That's like honored, you know, I was honored. But this music thing, I mean, it goes way back. If you listen to the music, it kind of basically tells my life, you know.
And what is your life? Like, what portion of your life are you trying to get out of your music? Because I know it's your testimony. I can hear it.
Yeah, it's my testimony. I mean, I came from a single-parent home, so, you know, it was a struggle. So, you know, I didn't have that father figure. So I ended up getting into the streets, kind of followed the streets a little bit, you know. So my music I paint that picture without trying to glorify negatives. You know, I try to, you know, give hope to, like, it's hope. You know, so most of my music, you're not going to see me talking about choppers and shooting. It's a lot of stuff that I saw, but I'm not going to glorify that. I'm going to glorify the hope. I do it.
So I've never heard your music. So do you rap? Do you sing?
Yeah, I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper. Yeah.
But it's a little bit, I don't know, because his music. See, I was intending to get an edited version of his music before he came. He brought me some music with him because I want to play get a taste of, you know, his style.
Can you give us a little sample that's clean? Or?
Yeah, Save a Child. That's the song I was wanting.
Well, can you do a verse for us?
I can do a verse. You know, I can do a verse.
Cause you know I'll put you on the spot.
All right.
Go ahead and do a verse. Save a Child.
First verse is like, they never had a chance. The sympathetic cries. Obituaries of little kids that should have never died. Tears in my eyes when I hardly knew her name. But the way they did Shania Davis was a damn shame. And who would rape, let alone murder an innocent child and leave her on side the road like she was no more than a garbage pile? I can hardly smile what's the love for our children? So precious to heart. You know, I mean, that's where I go. That song is emotional to me. Last time it was at the Stop the Violence thing. Lakeisha Robinson invited me to it. It was so emotional. I was crying. I couldn't even do it. So when I do that song, it kind of hits me. So
yeah. So what you got? Do you have something on the CD for everybody?
Yeah, it's something for everybody. It's like it's 360. It goes all around. It starts like, I mean, you put it like this: from 8 to 80, I've had little kids, 8 years old, reciting some of the lyrics. You know, some of the hooks. I've had older people, 60-some years old, reciting hooks. So I'm like, you know, that's all right, you know, so I was able to touch bases with, like, everyone, so. That's
cool. So you got something for me, my mama, my
your
grandmama,
mama,
my daughter, you know what I'm saying?
Your daughter.
That's what's up. My
cousin.
That's what's up. Because that's what I always ask the artists, like, when I pick up your CD, when I pop it in, you know, I want to enjoy it. I don't want it to be, you know, cuss word this, curse word bleep, bleep, bleep. Like I said at Cream that night, you know, some people have music where you have to bleep out so much that you don't even have a song after you edit it.
But see, my thing about music, and like I tell a lot of people I tell a lot of other artists, and I don't know if they listen, but I try to give them, you know, because I've been doing this a minute, you know, so I've been doing this a minute. That's why I say never give up.
Right.
I've been doing this like 20 plus years. So I say never give up. For the simple fact, you know, hip-hop to me was more of a learning tool. Hip-hop used to be something that you got knowledge from. Now everything is like sexually oriented. It's about violence, you know, but hip-hop was supposed to be something that, you know, just gave uplift, you know, opened us up as people, you know.
Exactly. Because, you know, of course, I know a lot about the back in the day music. I was raised in Detroit, and so, you know, we had all types of different music, but one thing that was instilled in us is music like Common, you know, with Common and Nas and those hip hop artists, because legends. You know, they're legends and they spoke the truth.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Without all that extra stuff. You know, without all the additives.
I mean, I agree. The lyrics today, I mean, some of the songs that's out now, I'm like, how in the world? And then you got the little kids that's reciting the words.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, there's a song now, what is it? Oh, God, I can't think who sings it, but, you know, I ain't messing with you, and I'm trying to clean up that song.
Yeah,
you know, and you got kids, you know, I'm in the car, and Jacob's singing that, and I'm like, does he know what he's really saying, you know?
That song is, the Big Sean song, You know, I said, man, I could have wrote that song a long time ago. I say that all the time. You know, I don't give a, you know what I'm saying? Those are some lyrics right there now. But I'm telling you what, hey, with music for me, you know, when I deal with artists, independent artists, I truly enjoy dealing with you guys because, you know, you just flat out raw, real, and uncut. But you also don't mind taking advice from someone.
Exactly.
You know, you don't mind learning. And a lot of the artists that I've come in contact with, you know, they want to be fed. You know what I'm saying? They want you to give your feedback. And although sometimes my feedback may not be what you want to hear, I feel like you always got to have that person in your camp that's honest enough to tell you
the truth.
The truth. Because I'm telling you, some music can be garbage. And just because I was talking to the voice box the other day, and I said, anybody can pay $50 an hour. If you gave me $50 an hour to come, you come and rap, do whatever you want to do.
All day.
Well, why not produce some good music? Why not that person say, look, let me help you with your album?
Exactly.
Because that's what people need to hear.
That's been some things that I did ask some producers that came in here. I said, now, are you going to tell them that the music is good or if it's bad? You know, are you going to critique it?
But see, that's the thing. A lot of them, though, you know, a lot of the guys, they don't want to hear the truth. You know, they get offended if you tell them the truth. But you're really trying to give them the right direction. And you might say, look, take some of this right here out your stuff and talk more about this. You can still make it catchy. You can still do this, but they got to do this way. Then you tell them something. I mean, I'm open. It took me like, I did a song, I did an album like dropped in the 90s. Did so much music since then, but I wasn't going to drop it anything else unless it was to my, you know, quality, you know, what I wanted to do.
You know, and people wonder how artists like, you know, Jay-Z and 50 Cent and all them, how they make it so far. And it's because, you know, they handle their business. For them, the industry is not, they're not going to be in the studio all day or just have a pen and pad writing. If you really do your research, these are actors that invest not only in other people's things, but they invest in themselves as well. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I think that it's very important also for artists, independent artists, to learn to invest in themselves.
Exactly.
You know, like with your CD, it's rap really nice. You know, nice cover, you know, nice promo, all that. That's what people want to see. If you give me a CD on the streets, I want it to look like a CD I'm buying out of Best Buy.
Exactly.
And see, just that CD right there, look, you can open the cover. Man, it even has the words on the CD. It ain't no marker, you know what I'm saying, with the, you know what I'm saying?
So
Not shooting anybody down, but you invested in that. And these CDs aren't really that expensive, but you want to make them look like, if I'm going to give you $10, I want to make it out, before I put this in there, I want to feel like I want to play the
like
CD.
you buying something.
Exactly.
You know, something like, say, 3 months down the road, you done got your CD lost because it's a blank CD.
Right.
I mean, you get what you put your money in, you know, and like I say, even with the work, don't rush just saying, oh, I got a song. You in the studio with 10 of your homeboys, and y'all just take your time. First of all, it takes talent to do what you're doing.
Right.
And I always say, all it takes is you putting the right words in the right order. There it is. You're no different than any other artist.
And see, this right here, this is Kobe Beats.
What's up,
He's
Kobe?
a producer himself. Come here, Kobe. So tell him, like, say if you're making a beat for someone and they come in the studio and they rapping too fast or whatever, do you critique the artist? Do you help them out, or what do you do? What's your stance on that?
It depends. Really, I do critique, because if you're using my beat, you using me too. It's a showcase for me too. So you gotta put your best efforts on it too. Because I put my best efforts in the music and making that beat for you. So you gotta put your best efforts for it. Like I got my homeboy right now. He's working on a project. He was telling me last night, man, don't get these songs done. I was like, man, just take your time, man. They gonna come. We prepping everything else right now anyway. So just take your time with the music. It's gonna come.
Exactly.
See, that's what a lot of artists do. Some artists want to rush their project. They want to hurry up and get it out in the streets. But then I've met some artists that says, well, Miss Traci, my project not going to be done for about 6 months.
Yes.
And you have to admire somebody that's going to take their time. Because like Kobe said, it's your baby, basically.
A guy told me that the other night. He got my CD, and he was asking me about the music, and he was like, I heard about it. I said, man, check it out. He hit me back, and he was like, man, this your baby. He said, this is it. But I give my man, I salute my man for not just letting someone just put anything on his piece.
Oh yeah, He's very precise, and he's his own worst critic. I think I've seen him make beats, and
that's the best way to be.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, that sounds good. No, it ain't done yet.
That's humbleness. You got to be humble. You can't think, oh, I'm that man. You always got to be humble, open for criticism.
So, if somebody wants to get your CD, what do they need to do? How can they get in touch with you?
Okay, I got it like in local venues like BJ Music. I have them. I travel around. Someone asks one. I'm on Facebook, Ramone MrMone Oneal. It's available through the internet. iTunes, Amazon.com. Wherever you can buy your favorite artist's music, you can get my music there too. MrMone Dreams.
All right, that sounds great. You on SoundCloud?
Yes, I'm on SoundCloud too.
Okay, that's what's up. And hey, on this show we give shout outs. So go ahead and give me those shout outs.
I'm definitely gonna give a shout out to you, Miss Traci Fant, for inviting me here. Shout out to my man Phil Duckett, who gave me this. He gave me this sound for this album. That was my man. He put the sound in it. Shout out to all my fans that follow me and enjoy my music. And most definitely a shout out to every artist from Greenville, South Carolina as a whole that's trying to make it keep pushing.
All right, shout out to you as well for grinding. You know what I'm saying? Keep grinding, keep moving. And I can't wait for you to come back on the show. You know what I'm saying? I want to get you and some other artists in here so that we can just have a couple of shows just about music and just different things like music, poetry. Because that's what this show is all about.
No doubt.
Helping you guys get the exposure that you need.
No doubt.
So that somebody can make it. You know what I'm saying? We want somebody to make it.
We just got to get somebody through that door, and they just got to...
Man, we gonna kick the door down.
They can't pull the door, and make it. They gotta leave it open a little bit for the rest of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hey, Miss Simone, thank you for being on Real Talk, Traci Fant.
No doubt.
And that's Real Talk.
All right, appreciate you.
So my next guest is a phenomenal woman who's been involved in changing Greenville for the better for many years. Please welcome President of Greenville's Rainbow Push Coalition And my home girl, my attorney, you know what I'm saying, my everything. She's cool, cool as a cucumber. Miss Davida Mathis. Hey.
Hey, Miss Traci, I just love you. My sister beloved, freedom fighter. You got that name from Reverend Jesse Jackson. He met you the first time. I saw him looking you up and down, and he was thinking. I saw the wheels turning in his head, and he said freedom fighter.
Yes, he did.
So that's going to be your name from now on.
That's what's up. I'll take it. I'll take it. Right. You know, because I was truly honored, you know, to meet him and to be in his presence. But not only that, to meet all of you all who have done so much in Greenville. You know, you brought so much change. Tomorrow is the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King. And because of you all, we now can celebrate that here in Greenville, South Carolina, which happened to be we were last on the map, right?
We were the last county in the United States of America. It's a shame.
It's crazy.
It was a scandal. But in 2002, in 2002, Greenville.
2002.
My father passed. The reason I know the date is because my father passed, and Reverend Jackson came to Greenville to preach my father's funeral. And on the Miss Lida Gibson picked him up at the airport, and he said, like he always does, "What's going on in Greenville?" And Miss Lida Gibson said, "Well, we're still trying to get this Martin Luther King holiday." And I wasn't in the car, but I can imagine what kind of look he gave her.
Exactly.
And Miss Lida Gibson had been trying for 17 years.
Wow.
To get the holiday, but they kept voting it down on county council. And Reverend Jackson, I'm telling you some history now, because it gets a little twisted sometimes, but this is what really happened.
Oh yeah, we want to know what really happened. This is real talk right here.
Reverend Jackson said, "Well, what you gonna do about it? We need to get together. Y'all need to go to county council meeting every 2 weeks." And he made a commitment right then and there to get a plane ticket or charter a plane, do whatever he had to do to get to Greenville every 2 weeks for about 9 months at his own expense. And he led us. We took hundreds of people up to County Square. We had choirs out there singing, people out there with American flags. We protested. We went in jet. They still wouldn't relent. They said, "No, you'll never get the King holiday in Greenville." It was that Bob Jones element. If we talking real, it's just
we're talking real. Oh yeah.
It was that Bob Jones element. And to tell the truth, there were a lot of black people in Greenville who said we would never get the holiday.
Wow.
And so after we protested, then we had a march with 15,000 people. They say, "Oh, it's the biggest march in the last decade." Let's tell the truth. It's the biggest march that ever was in the state of South Carolina.
Exactly.
We made national news, but we still didn't get the holiday. And the way we got the holiday is that several of us met at Reverend Curitan's church, and we decided that instead of voting Democratic like we were going to switch and vote Republican and vote out the Republicans who wouldn't support the holiday. And that's how we got the holiday.
I'm glad you brought the date back, because I was trying to figure out what the date was, because I actually participated in that march. I remember Judge Greg Mathis.
Yes, he sure did.
I participated in that march, because did we march up the Church Street Bridge?
Marched from the county courthouse all the way up Church Street Bridge over to County Square.
Because I was worried about going bridge, because I don't like heights, but that day, I mean,
it was all right that day, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And it was a fine mist. It was a good day.
And the whole atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? Everything about that day was so phenomenal. And the thing about it is, when I think back, you know, the people that I wanted to meet then that I didn't meet, I'm meeting now. You see how God works. God has transitioned me in a position where, you know, I'm now friends with Davida Mathis. I've met Reverend Jesse Jackson, you know, and different people like that were so involved in that whole movement.
Well, God was all up in it.
Yes.
You know, I love the Lord, and I love going to church, and I can run the aisle. I like to shout and all the rest of that stuff. And you got to put some feet with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it organized us. It brought us together. And so by the time we had 15 people out in the street marching, they were ready to vote.
Exactly.
They were ready to switch parties because there were no Democrats running.
Wow.
And the Democrats that were on county council already favored the Martin Luther King holiday. So God gives us a brain too. And our brain say, if we can't elect any more Democrats, let's go to the Republicans and see which ones support us.
Wow.
And that's what we did. And I have to say we, because I didn't have 10,000 votes to do it.
No, that's right. Wow.
So we did it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So moving forward, so now you're basically, you've headed up the Rainbow Push Coalition here in Greenville.
I am. I'm the newly elected, the accurate term is chairman, but we like to say president because who doesn't want to be president?
I called her president.
I think Reverend Jackson called me president, so
He did, yeah,
if he said it, it's okay. But our struggle, as Reverend Jackson was saying at the Dream Weekend banquet, which he spoke at this year, and I'm so glad they invited him before they, stopped having it. But the original struggle was to end slavery. The second part of the struggle was to end Jim Crow, lynching, segregation. The third part was voting rights. And the fourth part is where we are now, economic development. And so that's what the Rainbow Push Coalition is about.
And he broke some ground this past week, right?
He broke some ground. Really, the ground got broken in 2014. The announcement came out last week.
Okay.
Reverend Jackson, he did this in his own head. Decided that Apple and Google and Intel, Facebook, and all of those companies probably didn't have a lot of black people working for them. And so he did some research, and he has an office in Silicon Valley, and they did research. They found out that only 2% of their workforce is black.
2%?
98% is white.
Wow.
And so Reverend Jackson, like he does, called them up, so let's have a meeting. And he met with all of them. Individually, he met with the big guys and the Facebook people and everybody. And at first, of course, they resisted. But then they finally said, well, here's our records. We only have 2% or less African Americans in our company. And y'all know, more than 2% of us use Facebook and Google and all that other stuff. And anybody who has a computer uses Intel in some way or another.
Oh, yeah.
But the announcement that came out last week was that Intel stepped up to the plate. All of them, came to the altar. But Intel joined the church.
Oh, wow.
And what I mean by that, they made a commitment. They say by 2020, they will have parity. Well, parity is parity. It means fairness. They say by 2020, their company is going to look like America. If they're 12% blacks in America, they're going to be 12% blacks in their company. If they're 7% Hispanic, they're going to be 7% in their company. And that's earth-shaking.
It really is.
And so I think we need to give them some applause for that.
Give him some applause for that, Trey. Go ahead. So a man on the applause right here, my son, Trey.
And he's right on it, too.
He's on it. Somebody texted me and asked me, how can they get involved with the Rainbow Push Coalition? Well,
Rainbow Push Coalition has several local chapters, and we have one here in Greenville, and I'm going to tell you how to get in touch with it. Call me. Call me at 232-0809. We're also on Facebook. Rainbow Push Upstate, I think, is our Facebook page, but if you put Rainbow Push into Facebook, it'll bring up our chapter web page. You can contact us by Facebook. Me at Greenville 864-232-0809. I'm also a lawyer, and lawyers have to stay public. We gotta have offices, and we don't have to have offices, but we gotta have our phone numbers published. So that phone number that I'm giving you, 232-0809, is my office. But we also do Rainbow Push names in my office. This is my office.
That's what's up.
And they can't stop me, can they, Miss Tracy?
Nobody can stop you, I'm telling you.
Not with that.
Unstoppable, I'm telling you.
There's some things that I have fallen by the wayside on, but civil rights is kind of my thing. It's kind of in me, and I've lived longer than I have to live, and a good way to live the rest of my life is fighting for freedom. And so, on this Martin holiday, I think people get real confused about who Dr. King was. Number one, he was very much hated during his lifetime. I don't think any human being during the world had as many death threats as he had. And he was hated by not just white people, but he was hated by black people. Most people did not like him until he was assassinated. The day after he was assassinated at junior high school, where my sister and I were part of that little group that integrated Greenville Junior High School. And the children were dancing and cutting cartwheels and having a good time because Martin Luther King got assassinated. And although I'm old, I'm not that old. And that was in my lifetime. But Martin Luther King was okay as long as he was marching and talking about getting to the front of the bus. And a little bit okay while he was talking about voting. But when he started talking about economic development, when he started saying we need to quit spending money on war and spend money on developing our communities and bringing black people into equality, that's when he got assassinated. And you hear from the tone of my voice that I believe, this is me. I know some things, but this is what I believe. I believe that he was more dangerous when he was talking about money than when he was talking about sitting on the front of the bus.
Exactly.
And so that's why we still talk about it, because we're not there yet. We have the illusion that, you know, oh, the civil rights era is over.
No.
It's not over until we reach economic equality.
Exactly.
And I can promise you, from my own personal experience, we're there yet.
Wow. You know, I was asking Traci about you last night. I told her that I've heard your name. I listen to WAOK.
Oh, okay.
And I think your sister has a show on this
Both
station
of us, we call sisters-in-law.
Okay, because I listen to Derek Bozeman in the afternoons, and I heard you were going to be on the show or something like that. So I want to make sure it was the same sisters or whatever it was.
We call sisters-in-law, real sisters, real lawyers, really good advice. But we mostly talk about politics, and we talk about the stuff we talk about at home and in the car. This is what we talk about. We talk about civil rights, and that's what we do on that show. And people say, oh, y'all sisters, y'all married to brothers. No, we just sisters, and we thought it'd be cute to say sisters-in-law. But thank you for listening.
That's nice. That's nice and catchy. What station is that on?
It's WAOK 1380, right?
1380 WAOK.
And that's out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get it on the internet. Yeah. My husband travels a lot, and he's gotten it from Mongolia. He's gotten it from Saudi Arabia. While he was in Saudi Arabia, he's been all over the world, and wherever he goes, except some parts of America, he can get the show. So if you go on the internet, you can get it.
And you travel a lot as well.
I do, and I just recently got back from Switzerland,
right?
And it was not a vacation, but it was better than a vacation. I went there just as an observer, but my sister was a speaker before the United Nations regarding, we call it civil rights, but they call it human rights and torture. You know, what we've been experiencing in America is torture. And from looking from America outward, we don't call it that. We call what other countries do torture. But outside of America, they look at us and see how, you know, Trayvon Martin, the Ferguson situation, New York situation, they call that torture. And so that's what my sister was there to speak on. Daryl Parks was there. Ifeoma Wangaza was there to speak about torture in America. But the shocking thing to me, there were about, I think about 23 people on the panel from the UN. They were from the United States. All of them were white.
Really?
Every last one of them was white from the United States. And those people speaking were from the United States. And we were speaking to them about torture against African Americans in the United States. Why don't they talk about that here? Why don't they talk to us about that here? But they does before the meeting to kind of keep us in check before they met with foreign people. But, you know, we need to stay on that.
So they had to go over the dialogue with everybody before we go out here in the public.
Yeah, but the public already knows.
Wow.
You know, you can't keep secrets like that now.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s when Dr. King was alive, you could keep some secrets, but Dr. King was a prophet, among other things. And one thing he knew is if the world saw pictures of what was going on here in America, America would be shamed into changing. And I say it's still true today. If the world sees what's going on here, we're going to be shamed into changing and doing better.
But don't you think the media sometimes can be a little biased and own things and not some of the real things?
Absolutely. So you'll never see on the evening news what Reverend Jackson did with Intel.
That was the first heard about it. Just you said that.
You'll never see that. What's the person's name who invented Facebook? Y'all know him.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Y'all never saw Mark Zuckerberg crying on Reverend Jackson's shoulder. Y'all won't ever see that. You'll never see that he went to Silicon Valley and challenged them on their hiring, what they call C-suites. That's where the upper executive management.
Yes, yeah. Consumer electronics.
Yes. He went out there and said, you know, when he challenged them about how many African Americans they had working for him, they said, well, blacks are not really into technology. And he went around the room. Now I'm looking at two young men who are very much into technology. But he went and said, what's your major? What's your major? What's your mentor? All of those executives had a degree in technology. He said, well, I want the African Americans to have some of the jobs like you, but you won't see that on the news. That won't make them, that's not news. But you're right, the news is biased. And what the news says is news. That's what's news. That's why we need this show.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why we need it, to put everything out there, in the open so the people that are listening can hear what's really going on, behind the scenes, because we're not always going to get the other part of the story, and it's terrible that we always get that side of the story that's bad, and that makes us look bad. I talked about that when we discussed the Oscars on Scene on 7.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, look at the roles that we're nominated for when we're nominated. Halle Berry, she was a crackhead. Right. So, yeah, she wins an Oscar.
And it wasn't until she had sex with Billy Bob Thornton that they thought she could act.
Exactly.
And that was a low point in my life.
Exactly. And then also Denzel, when he played the crazy cop in Training Day. And then Monique in Precious, that movie right there. I'll never want to see that movie again in my life.
Yes. I saw it once.
That was such a terrible movie.
Well, it was a terrible thing. And sometimes those terrible things we need to talk about and we need to have movies about. But we need to have more than one source. 1 year it'll be 12 Years a Slave, which was a fabulous book, which was an original source.
Oscar too.
It won the Oscar, but it's an original source. But that can't be the only source. We need more than one. It's always one they lift up, if they lift up any. We need to lift up more artistic works, just like the young man who preceded me. What they're doing in hip hop and rap, that's art. And I don't want anybody to shame us into thinking that we can't appreciate it and we shouldn't value it, because it's our art. Just like they did jazz 100 years ago. They shamed us and made us think it was dirty and wrong. And now it's supposed to be, it's classical music now.
Right.
Yeah, but, okay, I'll say it. When the other tribe takes it over, that's when it becomes valuable. But we need to value our own art.
That's right. You're right.
And so, I hope we continue to elevate our own movies and our own works of art and congratulate each other.
Definitely. And we really need to work on congratulating each other as well.
Well, Miss Traci, you and I can talk about that a long time. I can talk about that from now to Jesus come back. We really
need to do a whole show
need to
on
honor each other.
We need to do a show on that.
Yeah.
And not just honor ourselves, not just, I did such a magnificent job. It's all good and everything. We know you did good, but let your work speak for themselves.
Right.
And let other people give you applause and, your flowers, hopefully, before
while you're living.
Exactly.
Well, Miss Trace, I want to say one more thing. I know my time must be running out because I'm talking long.
Yes,
but in the Rainbow Push in Greenville, South Carolina, what we're doing today, what I worked on last week, is developing a list, Reverend Jackson says, of the top 100 publicly traded corporations in South Carolina. He doesn't know I got the top 13. And if we work the top 13 right, we'll have something that's never been done in South Carolina before. What's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is to send them letters like they sent letters to Intel and Google and Facebook and say, how many African Americans do you have working for your company? What jobs are they in? Are they in management? Are they in supervisory positions? What are their salaries? And, I got an idea. And then after we get that information, we're going to challenge them about their diversity. People want to say diversity, very diverse.
Exactly. I say that all the time.
Being diverse means you got 27% blacks working in your company. Right. That's diverse.
Exactly.
But having 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 when you got 1,000 employees, that's not diverse. Having one person in management that's African American, and you have a whole of management people, that's not being diverse. Year, we're going to challenge the diversity of the top, I say 13. I just stopped at 13. I have the names right here on my iPad. But the top 13 publicly traded corporations in South Carolina, we're going to challenge them. And I would like to have some help with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll definitely help you with that.
Well, do you think the affirmative action needs to be changed then so that we can have more diversity in the companies?
Well, the way the Supreme Court is made up today, I think affirmative action is not going to be effective again in my lifetime. I think as consumers, we're going to have to challenge these companies. One thing we say as African Americans, we are consumers. We're major consumers. We lead the world in consuming. And as major consumers, we have to challenge these companies. And if they can't respond to our challenge, then we don't need to use their products. And that's just how it goes. Well, how can you challenge it other than shaming them and putting their business out in the street, which I love to do? What Reverend Jackson has done over the last 40 years, which his head, is to buy stock in those companies. What good does it do to buy stock in a company that won't hire black people? If you buy stock, you can go to their shareholders meeting.
So somebody want me to ask Trey, So, you know, they say you're involved in IT. How do you feel about what Miss Mathis is saying now about the different things that Reverend Jesse Jackson is trying to do to get young people like you to see other people, your color, in good positions? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that?
I'm actually kind of, I'm a bit shocked, but I'm also kind of like, you know, I kind of expected that because like the companies, I've had interviews with some like technology companies before as a sales associate or whatever, but it seems like they don't exactly expect the consumer to know that much about their technology, very versus like the I guess how everyone else looks compared to us, I guess. But it's I don't really know. It's just different.
But this young man
had an interview with Apple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll put it out there. And they interviewed him a couple of times, and he was very, very. I mean, I think he really had the job. But then someone else, you know what I'm saying, walked in and like off the streets, wasn't even dressed nice or whatever. He was dressed all nice and dapper and everything, knew everything about technology, but they didn't hire him.
Well, he is the person that we are working for right now. And I don't want to be a doomsayer and a naysayer, but because this young man who is obviously brilliant, who's obviously prepared and able to go into Apple or Intel or any of those other companies, Google, Facebook, or anybody else, and do a job that excels anybody else, but because his face is brown, he's a very handsome brown-skinned man, because his face is brown, he can't get the job.
Right.
He can't get the serious consideration. That's what the challenge is about.
Yeah, and it was very upsetting to him because he actually, you know, I mean, looked forward to the interview and rehearsed the interview, and he had all this stuff lined up, and he felt that the reason why he didn't get the job was because, you know, he's African American.
Well, I challenge all young people. I know you think civil rights is dead and over, but what we're talking about is creating an economic future for you, particularly in the areas of technology, science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. We're talking about creating a future for you because, you know, my son is getting ready to set. I'm not going to live forever, not on this side of the journey. And I say it funny, but I mean it sincerely. But I have a daughter who's 22, and I know a whole lot of young people, friends and cousins and other people who need jobs to create lives to support their families. And that's what we are working on. And I challenge the young people who are listening, join Rainbow Push. It only costs $35 a year. Why join Rainbow Push? Because when Reverend Jackson goes in that door and says, you got to hire 1,000 black people, you need to be right behind him.
I know, that's right. Well, Davida, thank you so much for being on the show. Hey, do you want to give any shout-outs before we go? She's so crazy.
I want to shout out to Miss Traci Fant.
I appreciate it.
Because, Trace, I haven't known you long, but you're a sister beloved. And I like what you do. You're a freedom fighter. It's for real. It's not fake, which is very refreshing. I'm not throwing any shade, but it's very refreshing. And I'm going to say it to all of Greenville and surrounding areas. I want Traci Fant in Rainbow Push. Bought you a pen. I think I'll take mine off and give it to you.
I'll be an honorary member. I'll take that pen. And thank you so much for being on Real Talk with Traci Fant. Thank you, my lovely co-host Julie, and all my people in the studio with me. Real Talk.